Don't you want it? 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 You lose your little mind. My Deadlights.
So, welcome to the Deadlights podcast. Minnie, I'm your host, Minisode.
I am Minnie Leslie, bringing you your mininess.
All of it.
All of it.
In the truest form. And today, guess what? It's our 30th Minisode.
3030 all the way.
3 decades of
movie watching.
Wow,
we look good for 3 decades later.
I feel like it's like practically how we looked at the beginning.
At the beginning. Absolutely.
From the start.
From the start. Make it drop.
We don't age in the Deadlights.
No. Well, we shouldn't. That is what we were granted, correct?
We have to be around here for all time to review all horror forever, so we ain't going nowhere.
Absolutely not.
And in true Deadlights fashion, we have to look back a little bit on...
Oh, this way.
On the movies that we watched. And so we're going to go back the last 10 movies and pick our favorites.
Damn.
Do the hard job.
This is hard.
It's going to be difficult. Because I was writing these down and I was like, shoot, these are a lot of good movies.
Yeah.
These last 10 have been just like really good. I'll read them off so we all know. So, we watched The Orphanage, The Ritual, Train to Busan, The Night of the Hunter, Antlers, The Lighthouse, Carnival of Souls, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Alice Sweet Alice, and The Night House.
Wow.
Damn.
How are we gonna do this?
These are the tough parts of the job that we've given ourselves.
Choosing the top 3.
So we're gonna do. Are we gonna do like 2 and then at the top number 1 for each of us? Like, do you have to go like 3, 2, 1?
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's gonna be tough.
Oh.
Do you have any ideas? Do you want me to jump in first?
So we're doing the third, right?
Third. Top 3.
Top 3. I think I'm gonna go with the Night House.
Night House
to
number
be
3.
Honest. Yeah.
Nice. The one that we watched most recently.
Most recently, it was wonderfully made, and I'm still questioning. And it's a movie that I want to see again.
Mm-hmm.
So
the watchability of that movie, I think, is really high.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff I bet that David Bruckner threw in there without us even realizing it, and upon a second watch, and you even said it when we were recording, it's a lot about how people use their language too.
Mm-hmm.
Like how it's written is very intentional.
Oh, yeah.
The words that they choose to put in these lines is there's a lot of double meanings. And kind of like the movie is, it's a lot of doubles going on. Mirror images.
Yes, absolutely.
Be one thing in this image and another thing in the same image. It was very, very well done.
Oh, yeah.
I very much enjoyed it. And excited about more from him.
I know.
Sure.
Yeah, so far so good. I mean, we have another one on this list.
Yeah, we actually have a double David Bruckner. The Ritual was another one directed by him. And I think I'm actually going to put that at my number 3.
Wow.
Yeah. David.
You have our heart.
Killing it. The Ritual I thought was so well done. I think that it's a lot of the same reasons I like it. I like The Ritual are the same reasons that I like The Night House. It's very creatively done. The scares are and not jump scary. They're like creative scares, you know, and also make sense within the story that we are watching. So, like, every time we were going into those dream sequences was just like...
It's like, embrace yourself. We're about to see more and more of what happened.
And it was just so creatively done.
Yeah.
Too. Like, you didn't know, are we dreaming? Are we not dreaming?
Man, I can't stop thinking about that dream sequence in which he is running through the little market.
Yeah.
And it's like
fluorescent lights
throughout the... Oh, my God.
did such a good job with the production
So
design.
good.
And it's both those movies are about grief, really, and about death and accepting death and how we process it. And they're both such different movies and different perspectives of that concept. But also we can see like the David Bruckner style kind of within the two. You can definitely see it's the same filmmaker who's making these movies. Very creative.
It's so freaking good. And just like anything that involves dreams. And just like kind of either we're doing things in dreams or we are using dreams to gather information, or you know, like in this instance the monster is invading our dreams and using them and having us break down so that they can get into us. So
fear. They want that yummy fear.
Yummy. It tastes so good.
Yummy. All right, cool. Number 3. How about number 2?
Number 2.
Getting up there, the silver medal.
So we have such good ones. I also was gonna put The Ritual on here, but and then Antlers. To me, those two were the same because they talk about the same monster, the same demigod. But I think I'm gonna give it to the most classic of monsters, Train to Busan.
Wow, a little zombie.
A little zombie movie. It was our first little zombie movie.
It was our first zombie movie, and it was a really good one.
It's so good.
I think
it's so good.
Especially in... Oh, sorry, you talk about it. This is your second one. What am I doing?
I just think the script was so well done. The makeup was amazing. The build up, the climax. Our main character found redemption in the sense that like he kept his word to his daughter. And that scene in itself was well acted by that little girl. She was really like showing some pure emotion. And the concept of just moving through a train is just so cool. The stakes were always high because we needed to solve another problem. And it never felt like it was just like repeated things at all. It made sense. And then the losses of our heroes, they were so effective. Yeah.
I completely agree. I think that what I was going to say directly relates to what you just said, which is we've had up until that time 50, 60 years of people making zombie movies. So, and there was also like this massive surge with like The Walking Dead and Shaun of the Dead and The New Dawn of the Dead and all like there's another push for zombies. So I felt like for a while zombie movies did feel repetitive.
Yeah.
But this movie does a very good job of separating itself, making it feel creative. Yes, it's a classic zombie movies where you're against a horde of mindless creatures that just want to eat you. But they figured out a way to do it where it's creatively done. It always feels like the stakes are rising. And then it's also like a heartfelt movie.
Yeah.
And like you feel for these characters and the performances deliver so well for us to really like be there with them.
Yeah.
It's a very
you wanted them to succeed, and the more people we lost, we just like knew going into it, it's like not all these people are gonna survive. You know, sadly.
That's a zombie.
That is a zombie movie. Yeah.
Truth.
That is one of the tropes about zombie movies is not everybody gets to live because there's more zombies than there is living people at this point. But within the zombie genre, we were able to have that touching moment between a father who had distanced himself from family and got a job to make money, and he lost himself within that, and through this zombie thing that happened because of him, he was able to learn so much from his daughter.
Yeah.
You know, this is the first time that he was able to like really see her and her kindness and the kindness of others that he had pushed away for so long.
Incredibly sweet. Wow. Incredibly sweet message for a huge zombie movie.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Like,
Aloha, oi. Oh,
yeah, great.
so good.
So good.
And I was one of those people that jumped into the bandwagon of getting really into The Walking Dead. I love the practical effects. Those two people that I forget their names, but they're very well known in the cosmetic department. They built so many monsters throughout the years, and for the fact that a big ass show like The Walking Dead was able to use mostly practical effects, wow. Like it was effective until it got really, it dragged on a little bit too long.
It's long.
And
Is
the
it still
actors
going
were
on?
amazing. I want to say yes, and then they also like had like the prequel
Right.
of it, which I was just like not into it. And after that came out, I was like, you know what? I don't think I like this as much anymore.
It just became a lot. It became like the unfortunately that the subgenre became so oversaturated, and we saw a lot of just repeating things.
Well,
and
look
it
at
was
Game of
just-
Thrones show. Like it happens. People stop kind of caring about
Unfortunately,
things.
yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. I think
It's the nature of things.
it's the nature of things, but it also takes a good filmmaker or like showrunner to be like, all right, this has run its course. You know, we read the room.
And then they
Let's
don't
end
bring it back.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that they're doing right now is just bringing a lot of shit back. Because people are like, oh, I'm so nostalgic. Oh, bring back the show. And then they bring it back and it's like the worst idea that had ever happened.
Yeah. Well, and I think that what's interesting about Train to Busan is like, I'm not sure even since that movie was made, I've seen any other zombie movie like that heartfelt and also like that with that same concept of like being on a train. And you'd think that because it was successful, someone would try to like recreate that again, but I guess that's kind of just they did it, and we did it once. We did it once well.
Come on, it is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
What's yours?
My number 2, my silver medal. I'm between 2 right now. Unfortunately, I think just because well, honestly, both these movies surprised me, but this movie surprised me more, I think, of how much I liked it.
Ooh.
And I think number 2 is going to be Alice, Sweet Alice.
Wow.
Yeah. I think that movie was surprisingly creepy as hell, and more so surprisingly like a much more commentary in society than I thought there was going to be.
Yeah.
And in religion especially. I mean, that's what the whole movie is about. So I was surprised at how much of a conversation we could have about it and how much they actually were able to fit within that movie to give us room to have a conversation about like the pros and cons of religion almost and growing up in that situation and questioning things just in general.
Like, look at the people in this religion and how much fucking power we give them. You know? That in itself, like, they're able, for the most part, you know, be able to get away with a lot because everything gets, swept under the rug. Because if one person comes out and they have this whole scandal, then, like, how many others can you, like, find? So they would rather take care of it within themselves, like the whole concept of like, oh, family matters stay inside of the household. So
well, and I thought the smart part about that movie is that the entire time Alice is the one who's suspected of doing all these murders only because she's questioning religion. And she's a rebellious little kid.
But like also she's going through puberty.
She's going through changes. She's becoming a different person than we are, this angelic little girl. And ironically, the person that was the perpetrator in the end was this devoutly religious person who was able to use religion as an excuse to commit these crimes. So, and that kind of goes back to what you were talking about of like, let's sweep this under the rug and we'll just turn the lens on someone else.
Yeah, this person was also very delusional.
Oh, for sure.
This person was so devoted to God, but also just like this handsome ass pastor, you know, and
You thought
she
Pastor
was so jealous.
Tom?
Yeah, Pastor Tom, and she was so jealous that like this pastor cared about this family who, you know,
was going through a tough time.
going through a tough time.
Yeah.
She murdered a child.
Yeah. She burned a child.
She murdered and burned a child in church.
Yeah.
She's crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just love that switch.
Mhm.
That reveal at the end, I was like surprised at how good it was.
Yeah.
I didn't see it coming, and then the actual reasoning for it turned out to be like, oh shit, it wasn't just a random person that they picked.
No.
It actually had a reason why that person. And then the other thing is, I thought that movie was actually, some of the shots were really
Very
cool.
Very good.
Some of the cinematography in that movie was like beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
and I was expecting just kind of a B horror flick in that way, but whoever made that movie knew how to make a movie.
They had a passion. They had a passion for what they were doing for sure. And it seemed like, maybe I'm just saying this because I'm not quite acquainted with the 70s films. We're seeing more and more now.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But they are very experimental. I think they were trying to break a lot of kind of cliches and molds that were created because everything was very structured and pretty. That now we are venturing towards a more kind of passion-filled, let's, instead of having like this pretty shot, why don't we just have just like a very restricted kind of viewpoint to kind of get the message across about this certain thing.
Yes.
I don't know. Like it was really well done. I agree with you.
It's becoming more of an art form in this point where people are just like, they're willing to push it because they want it to evolve more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was like, dang, like these shots are awesome. The colors are really cool.
The colors are...
The production design is intentional.
The way that film looked is what now the like vintage kind of filters that people are using, that's what they're trying to accomplish. They're trying to accomplish that kind of like this low saturated but yet like very like the reds pop and the orange pop. So
yeah, fuck. I was like,
damn.
Go Alice.
Go Alice.
Go Alice. All right, so gold medals, number ones. Leslie, what do you think? What do you think?
I don't want to be a basic bitch.
You don't want to be a basic bitch, but something is calling your name.
Oh my god, it is because, man, I enjoyed it the second time a lot, like more. But man, we just have so many cool things on this list. So many cool things that I want to just give shout outs to everybody. But The Lighthouse.
The Lighthouse.
The Lighthouse, all in all, it definitely is not like anything I've ever seen.
I'm just going to say this right now. That was also going to be my number one.
Yeah?
It was.
Well,
so we'll just say it right now. The Lighthouse.
Let's say it right now.
Gold star from both.
Both of them together, both of them individually are fantastic actors. So, I mean, they made me forget who they were. Mm-hmm. And that is what acting is, you know, like they are able to transport you into this world, and they made me believe that they were going crazy or that they were whatever, you know. And the fact that they built the whole lighthouse for this film in particular, the script in itself was very poetic, very Shakespearean. There was messages within, you know, like don't try to hide who you are. And if you do, don't spill the beans. Don't spill the beans.
You spilled your beans. I completely agree. It takes every single box of of like a good film to me. It's like the acting performances were incredible. The production design was so well done that it felt like, probably for the actors too, like they were so immersed in this world for them to then even get more into the characters. And then the actual filmmaking and directing, like amazing shots, great cinematography. The fact that we're essentially in a square frame the whole time, that's a choice, and I love that choice.
Oh, yeah.
And it's also black and white.
And that
gives a certain feel and adds to this kind of like almost storybook cautionary tale that they're telling. It just all adds to that. And I think that it's such a successful movie in the way of it also gave us a lot to talk about, a lot to break down. Like Black Swan was in our last 10, that type of movie, I think we love collectively because there's so many just like Easter eggs for us to like pick apart and like pick, oh, did you see that detail, this detail? And it also has the watchability of, we could watch this movie again. And then get something else out of it.
Oh, yeah.
And see something else. And it's just like the watchability is just like massive on this movie.
I can probably see this movie every year.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Because there's also so much in it that you're going to forget about some of the things. You're like, oh, yeah, that part.
When everything just kind of stitched all together, you know, to be this beautiful quilt, you know, every little thing is saying something. It's adding to the pattern or the colors, texture, and this does it, like you mentioned. It goes with the acting, it goes with the script, it goes with the cinematography, the fucking, you know, structure.
Yeah.
Everything is speaking, and it is a beautiful film. Because in moments where there's no speech, there's sound, you know? And that is filling in what our characters are going through, or there's light, or there's this, there's that. It's so wonderful, and I love the fact that it is in black and white.
Yes. Shout out to those. See that movie. Do not deny yourself the pleasure of seeing any movie because it's black and white.
Even though we didn't, you know, give a little shout out to The Night of the Hunter.
Yeah, so that was our number one. I just want to do a quick, you know, honorable mentions. Quick one. We don't have to really talk about it in depth, but I was going to give an honorable mention to The Night of the Hunter. I struggled. I almost put it on the list as well. That's a great movie, and I always just want to continue to anyone who's watching this or anyone I talk to, just push people to watch black and white movies. Yeah. That movie didn't have to be made in black and white, too. So it was a choice that the filmmakers made, and I think that is something that people don't necessarily understand all the time, especially about older movies.
Yeah,
is like,
even the Carnival of Souls.
Even the Carnival of Souls. Yeah. Those could have been
in color,
but it was a choice, and so it's not just because it's a quote-unquote old movie. It is a choice by the filmmakers at a certain point. So and they're really good movies, and they use the black and white, especially in The Night of the Hunter. Like, the cinematography in that is so cool, and for it to be 1955 and they're doing these somewhat experimental shots with like overlaying, and then the intense shadows that are in that movie, intense light. It's so well made.
Yeah. I feel like it's also the way that Disney would shoot their animated films. They would actually go through with an actress and stuff in a space, and then they would just like draw that, you know. So it was like, in a way, early stages of motion. What was it called? Motion capture.
Yeah.
Capture.
Yeah, mocap.
Mocap.
Mocap. Motion capturing.
Yeah. So the scene of where he was going down the lake with the boat, that to me just seemed like a very beautiful Disney moment that you would shoot before you draw a fucking Jungle Book or something.
Exactly.
You know, it was just so well done. And like you mentioned, they're in black and white because these filmmakers are also lovers of film. they are grabbing stuff from their childhood and the people that actually got them inspired or something. So they're in black and white for that reason, because they're shot like if it was in the old days. So
Yes.
might as well just, like the Lighthouse.
It's an homage.
Gonna,
It's an homage. Do you have an honorable mention?
I was actually going to be the Night of the Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Then I will also give an honorable mention to Antlers as well, because that movie is another one that surprised me.
Yeah.
I had heard of it, and I had kind of heard what the story was. Wasn't that excited to see it, honestly. That movie had a lot to it.
Mm-hmm.
That movie was really good.
And I had been skipping it. Anytime that I would try to find a movie and Antlers would come on, I'm like, I don't know. That's fine. Whatever. And then I had seen The Ritual, and I was like, okay, cool. And then when we read the log line for it, I was like, wait, what? Are we going to be diving into the same fucking monster?
Same dude? What the hell?
Same dude? But yeah. No, I agree as well.
And that was just another movie with a lot cool monster, really cool monster, and very well made. And
the Orphanage too. Okay, sorry. I'm just going to throw that out there
too.
as well. The Orphanage. Oh, cute. Oh,
and,
not cute, but...
Guess what? Orphanage and Antlers, produced by
Guillermo del Toro. Wow!
Fucking master.
Wow, he's just been on our list from the beginning.
Well, I mean, that just... the thing is, we don't pick these movies. We pick them randomly, so that just goes to show how much of an influence he is just across the board in horror now. Like, he is just everywhere. He's pushed it forever. So... this podcast always turns into a Guillermo del Toro fest. It really does.
Fan cult.
We love you, man.
Fan fiction.
Oh man. And Guillermo caressed Sam and Leslie's faces and went in for a kiss, and they didn't deny it.
They did at the same time.
3-way kiss. Whoa.
Whoa, what?
Yeah.
Cut that out. Wow.
Those last 10, man. Those were bangers.
Bangers from fucking the first one to the last one. I am so excited. We are seeing some really, really fantastic films, and I know we said that the last 10 films, but I love the way that it just it's randomized, and we're getting
we're getting treated.
Yeah.
We're getting real treated to a lot
from the early
really...
2000s to really recently to in the 90s and the 70s,
let's
back
pop
to
around.
2020.
Yeah, let's pop around. Let's go around. I mean, I think this is the best way to do it, because then there's no bias almost. You know,
No.
we're seeing just all these films just as films. You know, we're not going chronologically and being like, oh, I see the evolution of this. It's just I feel like it's almost like a reset every time, because we're going from last year to the 60s to the 2010s to the 70s. We have to just reset our minds almost.
I mean, we literally went almost 50 years apart, Alice, Sweet Alice, and then The Night House. And then we're able to just really, I don't know, pay homage, see where inspiration has been gathered.
Yeah.
It's so
awesome.
Cool.
It's awesome.
I love it.
Well,
I hope you're loving it too.
I'm excited for the next 10.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see what it brings.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, Leslie, cheers.
Cheers
to the next 10.
To the next 10.
And cheers to you, too.
Yeah,
for
clink.
watching. And let's get out of this little
Let's get out of here. You can follow me on Color Me Leslie. You know it.
And me at Beep Beep Richie T. And the Deadlights Pod. That is us.
That's us.
Also, check out Playground Social, which is the studio that we were recording this at.
Or are we?
Until next Minisode. Or are we? Where are we? Until next Minisode.
Let's get mini spooky.